Hi guys, this is Rachel, the Modern Shaman, and I'm here to talk to you today about holding vibrational space for your loved ones. I had my sessions today, and after all my sessions I realized there was just a recurring theme today, which was this holding space vibrationally, emotionally for your loved ones. And so I felt like I needed to make a video about it because I kept saying it today, and I felt like, okay, this must be a topic that Spirit's really wanting to drive home with people. So that's what I'm going to talk about. Before I jump into it, I'll just remind you, these videos are accessible forever on my YouTube channel. So just subscribe to the Modern Shaman, and you can always rewatch this or send it to somebody that you think would benefit from it, what have you. And also, if you would like to contact me, schedule a session, find out where I'm going to be, any of that stuff, you can visit my website, which is just themodernshaman.net. Okay, so like I said, the topic that I wanted to talk to you about is holding space for your loved ones. So how this came up today was I'm seeing a lot of people processing what they would consider traumatic events that others are having to deal with. So this may be your husband or wife that's going through losing a loved one, losing a parent, or this may be someone that you care about is getting a divorce, or even more so, maybe it's your child and they are dealing with alcoholism or a drug addiction. Traumatic events that loved ones that you care about are having to process and go through. And so what happens is we, as those that love them, want to help. And we want to reach out, but we want it to be in the best way possible. And I always think it's interesting because when I am working with clients like this, Spirit always comes through just in surprising manners. They say things that I probably wouldn't mentally come up with to say and to guide someone. And yet Spirit has such a different perspective of these events because it's not culturally based. It's not, based on society or the rules and regulations and how we see things here as humans. It's such a spiritual perspective, much broader and much more all-encompassing of our purpose and what we came here to do. Spirit just wants me to kind of share with all of you that when someone is going through something and you're wanting to help them, the best way that Spirit sees fit is for you to give them the respect and freedom to process it the way that they feel is best for themselves. So love them unconditionally, basically, is what it comes down to. But we tend to think, okay, this person is struggling with addiction. Let's get them in a rehab. Let's get them, let's have some sort of, family meeting where we all talk about this and help process this event, which may be useful. But at the same time, I felt like Spirit kept saying today, and really has said in the past also, that the best thing we can do for people is to validate that the way they're processing it is the quickest, the fastest, the most efficient way for their spirit, their mind-body combination, their past life historical cocktail to deal with this issue. They're dealing with it in the most efficient manner. We tend to look at it and think, oh, they need to do it this way, this way, this way, this way. And yet we don't stop to realize Spirit is sending them in their perfection the exact way that this would be most efficient for them to deal with, most successful for their spirit to process and deal with. Now, when we see it and it looks like they're alcoholics and they're throwing a raging fit and screaming, we tend to think that's not the best way they should handle their emotions, or that's not the best way to process, their childhood abuse or whatever it may be. And yet, we're essentially kind of devalidating that Spirit knows best for them, that this is actually maybe the best, most efficient way for them to process that event. And the loving thing to do from the perspective of Spirit would be to give them the space to process it. So that may look like having compassion on them and viewing them like they're their own person in a separate little bubble dealing with their issue. Leave that bubble of safety there for them. Energetically, you can hold a space. Imagine them circled in a bubble of light that's safe and protected, and yet they're able to throw their fit, throw their tantrum. They're able to, express themselves, to get it out, and to be their crazy, manic self in that space. It doesn't mean you have to engage in it. It doesn't mean you have to say that space is a wonderful, beautiful space. You don't need to lie about the fact that it may be intense and self-deprecating and all of this stuff. But to hold that space for them and to say, I respect you enough to know that you know how to process this in the best way, in the quickest way, in the way that your spirit and your soul and your mind see fit for you. And even though it may not look like anything I would do, or it may not look right in the eyes of society or our culture or our family dynamics, but your spirit and your soul knows what's best for you. And so I respect that, I honor that, and I choose to love you and let you process. I hope I said that clear enough and that it makes sense to you. This is a higher level spiritual perspective to take, but I feel like a lot of humankind is ready for this and are able to process and hold this energetic space for others, to give them the respect and freedom and love to be able to respect their own process. Okay. Blessings to you. I love you all.